What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 98 of the Geekcast. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by my best friend in all the land, Toby. What's up, Toby?
What is up, Bobby? It's good to see you.
Yes, it's good to see you as well. I'll just go.
What are you drinking?
Coffee.
Sip of coffee.
But it's a gigantic.
It is gigantic.
Mug, man. I love my big mug. Doing something.
I love your big mug too.
I don't know which one you're talking about. This one, right?
Yeah,
we're joined by the one, the only, the Nintendo dad himself, Justin Masson. What is up, Justin?
Hashtag let Justin host.
Listen, you can.
That's a real thing.
Well,
it's a real thing. It's trending on internet right now.
We can let you host. We have a place for you.
Yeah.
Listen,
no, it's great, Bobby. Thanks for having me on.
Now that you're in a good time zone, we're not going to make you wake up at 4 o'clock anymore. You can come join Toby and I every week on the Geekcast, and you can just come in at what time? What do you do at noon, Toby? For you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. We can make it happen.
Wow, look at that, eh? Instead of getting up at 4 a.m. like I did this week for Nintendo Dad?
Yeah, exactly.
And
we'll even call it
part of my contract.
We'll call it the Nintendo Dad Geek or the Nintendo Geekcast Dad or something like that. Like we'll figure out something.
Okay, there's some
that way you feel at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. No, but yeah, thanks very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being here, and we have the one, the only Antonio Guillen. What is up, Antonio?
What's up, everybody?
So I'm sure there's people that are in my world that don't really know Antonio that well yet, but you will soon. We have some stuff in the works. We have some stuff going on. He's done some really cool stuff for me already for my YouTube channel, which will be airing this week because now that I'm on vacation this week and I'm out of all that holiday mode with work, I'm going to start ramping up the channel again and doing some stuff. But he did a really cool intro video for me that I will start using in all my videos and stuff, which is awesome. And then
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode. We are gonna do Geek Outs, Toby, because I know that if I didn't, Sean Capri would be messaging me upset. So we'll do some quick Geek Outs and then we'll jump into our episode. Toby, what are you geeking out about?
So today I went into Frinton-on-Sea, which is a posh little town nearby, and I found a couple of retro games in some charity shops. I got SSX Tricky,
nice,
on PlayStation 2, which is a classic snowboarding game.
Good times.
Then I picked up a couple of PlayStation 1 games on a whim. I didn't know what they were. Well, I didn't know what this one was. It's called Wild 9.
Okay.
And it's a sort of 3D 2.5D side-scrolling platformer, and you've got this weird sort of electric whip thing you can grab onto enemies and throw them around. So apparently it reviewed pretty well back in the day. So
I'm sure it held up too. I'm sure when you play it now, it's gonna be right on quality with Zelda Breath of the Wild. You'll be like, wow, I feel like I just immersed right back into Zelda.
Come on, it was £1. Come on. And I took a punt on this one. Chris Kamara's Street Soccer.
Okay.
Now, normally football games, like nobody goes and buys them from charity shops because they're so cheap. They release one every year. But I thought as a street soccer game that it could be quite interesting. You know, five-a-side football. They normally have a bit more arcadey fun to them. So
essentially what you're telling me is you're diving deeper into the retro world, and you're still not going to finish Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's very good to know. Meanwhile, Alan Paxton just 100%ed it. What are you doing with your life? You and Capri, the two of you are annoying the hell out of me.
I'm enjoying my life, Bobby.
You're not.
Alan spent 235 hours.
Yeah, well, he went after all 900 Korok seeds. So what do you expect? Listen,
he could have been enjoying some classic street soccer instead of hunting down Korok.
Listen, we're episode 98 right now. You got until episode 100. I spoiled the whole damn game for you, so you better get it done.
Really?
Yes, really. It's going to happen. Justin Masson, what are you geeking out about?
Well, I'm actually with Toby on it. I have also not finished Breath of the Wild yet.
Wait. Let's hold on. Let's put it in context. You also moved to another country. There's a difference. I give you credit.
Fair enough.
You could have played it on the plane. You know?
Oh, okay.
I actually did play it on the plane for a good chunk of my trip. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. But so I'm actually with Alan. I'm actually taking my time working through Breath of the Wild. But what am I geeking out about right now? Speaking of like the Nintendo Switch, I'm geeking out about region-free games.
Oh,
so I was able to pick up Mario Kart 8 here in Ireland and had no issues playing it, which is brilliant.
That's
beforehand,
awesome.
Folks, that would have been an issue, and there was no way we would have played.
That's awesome.
So that was a huge thing. I'm loving that. I'm geeking out about the UK community that I found over here of people like Toby, like Paul Lloyd, Gary Gray, all kind of now being in this pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So we're catching more in the same time zones, and I'm seeing these guys online more, which is awesome.
That's cool.
So building my network of friends, expanding our brand and our company, I guess. And then the other thing I'm geeking out about today was I saw a trailer for Mighty Gunvolt Burst.
Yes.
And it's coming to the 3DS and Switch actually on the same week of E3.
Yeah.
And this is looking like a really awesome legacy back to Mega Man. It looks like they've actually done it right.
That's awesome.
Obviously, Mighty Number 9 was a bit of a bust. Gunvolt's all right, but it looks like they've really done a solid job on it.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to give this a go.
Yeah, I had the original Mighty Gunvolt on 3DS, and that was properly retro, like Mega Man. Very hard, but very, very good.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good one. I'm excited for that one too. Antonio, what are you geeking out about?
I think I'm sharing with a lot of people who are, with the Switch, just understanding how it's there for you, like a good friend, like that warm blanket that you need, like at a moment's notice. So it's just everything about the system. But like I've just bought, I'm trying to buy every release. Right now Nintendo's really good about, announcing, releasing actually very quickly now. So I got Minecraft, which is, I'm the 1% of the population that hasn't played the game. Like I messed around with it a couple times. Who knows?
Never played it either. I'm with you on that one.
Maybe it was on PC. I have no idea when I touched it.
You got to get into
it.
So,
I booted up and I'm just like, okay. And immediately I got that, OCD, I played with Legos and love it and still do thing that I didn't even realize. So like you mentioned on another show, like Bobby was there with his guru knowledge being like, oh, you can change like the visual filter. And I went from like the standard to the natural. So I'm putting way too much time into Minecraft, I believe.
Never done
like I went online, I started researching, and it's just like, oh, like, obviously the game sold, gangbusters on, every single release. People keep buying it, and I kind of see why now. I forgot who was saying that they were embarrassed to be playing it. Oh, it was Sean. He was like, I don't want to play certain games. Like people are like, oh, this is a kid's game, so he didn't want to buy it. And me, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not affected. I know it's because every like 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old is playing Minecraft right now.
They're not playing it. They're mastering it.
Mastering.
The first time I played was with Toby, and I didn't want to play it. He made me buy it, and I was like, I did the demo, and I couldn't figure anything out. And I was like, screw this game. I'm not playing it. But we used to do this thing a lot where we did like a game night on the weekends. And he was like, hey, we're going to play something different than GTA. And I was like, okay, that's good enough for me. Like anything different than GTA, because I'm horrible compared to these guys. I'm all for it. So we got we get Minecraft, and he starts teaching me everything. Like, do this, and you got to do this, and you need this for this. And then, like, within, like, I would say, 20 minutes, I had it down, and I was like so hooked, it wasn't even funny. So I love it, and this version I'm loving even more because of the fact of on the go plus home. Like it's perfect. It's the perfect combination for this game. I think I'm in love with it.
It's a make your own fun game, and I didn't realize that I was still gonna be into that. I can't remember the last time I did that kind of sandbox. Okay, here it is thing. But yeah, it's incredibly deep, and I'm looking forward to playing more. It's just, I really like it.
It's good stuff. Myself, I'm geeking out because I just literally an hour ago bought The Division for PS4.
No way, Bobby!
Yeah, man.
Yes!
Yeah, so...
You gotta play with us.
I will. I just bought it. It was $15 at Best Buy. It was a Gamers Unlocked sale, and I was like, I'm in. I'm going. I'm going to get it. So I bought it. I just got the email that I can go pick it up. So after we're done the podcast, I'm going to run out and pick it up. So that's what I'm excited about. All right, so the the idea behind this show is, and I'm trying to push along a little bit quicker than typical, just because we got a lot to go ahead with, but we're doing an E3 prediction show right now. We're going to do all the major presentations. We're going to try to go through and do prediction for it. We're going to do one prediction for EA, one for Ubisoft, one for Bethesda, two for Microsoft, two for Sony, two for Nintendo. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but Sean Capri did give me his list of...
Doesn't matter what he gave you, it's garbage.
So, because I'm going to try to do, like, probably not next week, but probably the week after E3, try to bring whoever can come back. Toby will be here, obviously, but like everybody else, if we can bring him back to kind of just go over to see what we were right on, what we were wrong on, all that stuff. So, I wanted to put Sean in here because he'll be back for that one. So I think the way we'll do this is we'll go Toby, Justin, Antonio. What I'll do is I'll read Sean's, do Toby, do Justin, do Antonio, do mine, and then we'll just keep looping that way. Probably be the easiest way. So the first one, we're going to start with EA. That'll be our first one. Sean's prediction is BioWare, they have a new IP revealed and not much else. That's what he's saying is going to happen with EA.
Before we continue, does anyone feel that they've got a controversial prediction?
I think I don't know about controversial, but I have one that might not be like...
All right, okay, because I've got a couple that I think you guys might be, come on.
That's fine. That's what this is about, man. Come on.
I tried to make mine really specific, so...
Yeah.
I have no clue for any of it. I'm going to make it up as I go along.
There you go.
Yeah.
Toby, hit us with your EA prediction.
All right. Other than FIFA, 0 trailers will end with a Switch logo.
Oh. See, now you're being... Yeah. That's your one.
Other than FIFA?
Yeah, because I feel like EA have been saying, oh, we're going to support Switch, we're going to support Switch. I don't believe them for a second.
Okay, that's your opinion. We'll let that go.
Yeah. All right.
Justin, what's your prediction for EA?
What's my prediction?
Yes.
My prediction is that... Sorry, I had a delay on this side, probably. I was really thinking. I was like,
what the hell? I was like, really? I'm sitting there like, did he just have a stroke? He's just staring at us, man. He's like falling apart over there.
My prediction for EA is that they pick up the reins where Nintendo dropped off, and they're going to make a Star Fox Battlefront, which is where it is in the universe of Star Fox, but it's taking the skin of Battlefront Star Wars, and that's how it's actually going to work.
That might work. I'm on board.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
It would be insane.
Yep. They completely dropped the IP.
They probably do a much better job than Nintendo or Platinum would.
And for branding, there's one kind of crazy thing. Madden 2018, although it has Tom Brady's face on it, they're going to put a Mario mustache on it, and that's sold in the Switch.
Boom. Good God. Here we go.
Marketing genius.
Yes. Antonio, what's your EA prediction?
I think the Visceral game that's going to be coming out, the Star Wars game, is going to feature Han Solo. It's they have time to kind of play off the Solo movie that's going to be released, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be Han Solo voiced by Nolan North, and that's going to be it's actually going to steal EA's show. Like, that's going to be their highlight. It's been rumored for a while, and I just think that that's the way that they're going to go with it.
Man, that's pretty cool. That would be awesome. I love Nolan North too, man. Dude is impressive. For myself, I got this little prediction where I'm saying that Madden actually gets announced for Switch. Also,
it's possible.
Also, Fee is going to make its way to Switch as well. Like, I think last year we got the announcement about Fee, but I think this year they start to announce what platforms it's going to hit, and I think it's definitely going to hit the Switch.
Bobby, I would also agree with that Fee.
Yeah.
Statement.
Yes.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see.
I think Justin's got some insight.
Yeah, I think so. I think he does too.
Too confident.
No, I don't. I just think it is a natural fit.
Yeah.
It's from Zoink. Zoink's trying to get more stuff. They're the developer, not necessarily the publisher, but they're trying to get more stuff on the Switch.
Yeah.
They've had, I think, a good relationship with Nintendo. I think it's a natural fit. And when you look at it, I saw the trailer this week. There's no reason it shouldn't be on the Switch.
Exactly. We saw it, Toby, like 2 years ago? Something like that. Yeah. And when we saw it 2 years ago, that's the first thing we said. Like, this is a Nintendo game through and through. Like, it just screams Nintendo. And when we did it was funny because I kind of made the same prediction on Sean's Nintendo prediction show for We the Gamercast, and Zach was on it with us, and Zach was like, I don't know what that is. I never heard of that. And he looked up, he goes, oh. He's like, absolutely. This game has to come to Switch. So I think that anybody that sees it...
Who let Zach host a show?
He didn't host it. He was on the show, but I don't know why...
He doesn't know what he's doing. I guess he'll get fired from his job.
You're the one that left him alone, man. I don't know what the hell you were thinking. You left him and Marty in charge over there. And Jesse's just, if it's not talking about, what is it, Tingle, he don't get excited. He gets excited about that. Sean's next prediction is we're going to go to Ubisoft. He's saying there's going to be a 3D Rayman game coming like Mario 64.
I'd love that.
No.
Yeah,
He's wrong.
I would love it. I think it would be awesome. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I think they got...
Not with their partnership that they're doing currently with the Rabbids thing.
Yeah, I think with the Rabbids thing coming, I think with Rayman Legends already coming, I don't see them hit... But you never know. Ubisoft likes to announce stuff way in advance, so this could be possible, but I really don't know for sure.
Keep in mind that Sean doesn't sleep much right now, so... and you're gonna say things like Mario 64-ish type game.
No, that is not an excuse. All right, he needs either pony up to the bar or get off. Dumb decisions.
Toby, what do you think Ubi's gonna do?
All right, so we know Far Cry 5 is coming.
Yes.
I believe that the Far Cry 5 will be in a modern setting, and the trailer will feature drones.
Ooh.
What?
What do you mean?
Because I think
that's very precise.
I know.
Wait, so are you a drone? Because I am totally on that.
I just think that when you're attacking outposts in this game, you're going to be able to send a drone in like you do in Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Okay.
Because
Did you
I just feel like I didn't play Primal, but I feel like drones are kind of becoming the new popular thing in video games, and I think that this is it's going to feature heavily in the trailer.
I agree with Toby. I don't even want to go anymore, because that idea blows it away. In Primal, I'm pretty sure it was in Primal that you could use an animal, so I think it was like a bird or eagle, to like kind of act like a drone, like similar to like you would do in Ghost Recon. But yeah, that's a great idea.
That's a good idea. Justin, what do you think Yubi's going to do?
So I think there's actually two things. There's a scenario out here. So we do know that this Rabbids Mario crossover game is out there. Mm-hmm. I don't think Ubisoft is the one that's going to announce the game. I think it's going to be Nintendo's announcement. So I think that's a little bit of a play there. But we haven't. Here's the other thing for Ubisoft. We haven't seen an Assassin's Creed. They talked about taking a year off. I think this is the return of Assassin's Creed. Mm-hmm. But here's the twist, guys. It's Assassin's Creed placed in the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario is the guy, and he's got a hood. Actually, it's Luigi. That's actually what's happening.
You know what?
Luigi's
that's
Creed.
Where the twist is.
You know what?
Luigi's Creed, yeah.
When you said this at the start of the show before we went on the air, I thought you were joking. I didn't realize that everything was going to be Nintendo based. I love it.
Well, here's the thing, though. Everything I'm going to say forward is the truth of a statement that I do believe is going to happen. I do believe we will see an Assassin's Creed, and then I throw my twist into it.
Gotcha. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're putting me on for entertainment value.
That's apparently so. Antonio, what do you think Ubisoft is going to do?
I'm loving this right now. Splinter Cell is going to be teased. It's time. I didn't do any research to figure out how valid that prediction might be, but now's the time to do Splinter Cell again, and it's gonna have all this hype and it's gonna sell and it's gonna be amazing and it's gonna be your favorite game of the year and all that. Splinter Cell.
It's not gonna be my favorite game of the year. Zelda's got that, but I'll give you. I think the Splinter Cell is definitely going to happen.
My second Ubisoft prediction was going to be.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying it was going to be.
Well, let me do mine first.
We're not counting this. Oh, calm down.
What if it's what I'm going to say?
He's all upset.
Okay,
we know that Ubisoft always have that one final surprise game.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to be a Tom Clancy game of some kind.
Gotcha.
That's just what I think.
Get out of here with your nonsense. You can't ever just stick to the rules. You always got to throw that extra one in there. It's just how you are. I know that you messed up and didn't pay attention.
Few predictions. Come on.
It's not the Toby show.
I know. Yeah, it's a Geek Cast. Stop it. All right.
Should be, though.
I thought it was the Geek Cast with Bobby Paul.
No. That's not true. It's Toby's show just as much as mine.
Yeah, right.
My Ubisoft prediction is that South Park is going to be announced that it is coming to the Switch. I don't see why it can't run on there.
I could tell you like 15 reasons why.
Why? Well, why? Why do you think?
Well, no, I mean you're totally right. If Bayonetta, which I think is going to come eventually, and what was the other violent game? Payday 2, then Bobby's right on the money. Yeah. And I forfeit again my I want to go back on everything I said and just throw my weight behind.
I think it's it's the perfect way to play. You take it on the go, play it at home. Like, that's where we are. Like, that. I think that's what people will start looking at about bringing games to the Switch. Ideally, is this perfect in the multi-platform? Like, to move it back and forth the way it is. A role-playing game is ideal for that stuff. Like, I think it's amazing.
I think you're right.
See, here's...
Sorry, I was just going to say, like, as a bonus prediction, do you think it's going to be released at the same time as the other consoles, or is it going to come later to Switch?
I think it'll come the same time. It got delayed so far, I don't see why it can't come the same time. Because it was supposed to be out already, and they pushed it back. I personally think they pushed it back to get it on the Switch. I think that was their thinking. They got burned. They were the ones that got burned by, Watch Dogs, by putting it out and then waiting 6-9 months, whatever, until it went to the Wii U. They recognize it has to be day and date or it's not going to work. And Nintendo's been pushing really hard for day and date. Like, they won't offer any help if a game's not coming day and date with the other consoles. They don't feel like they should do anything to help you out. You got to do it all on your own. So if Ubisoft wants some of that marketing from Nintendo, then they're going to do it day and date.
What do you think about that, by the way? Like, that whole, just quickly, that because I've heard that before.
It was brought up on Kind of Funny when the dude, I forget his name, when he was talking about
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with Nintendo doing that. The idea is you want the game to launch the same time. Why are they going to give you advertising and marketing space if you're not going to put a game out the same time on their console as you're doing on the other consoles? Makes no sense. You're putting it on every other console the same exact time, and then 6 to 9 months later, year later, whatever. I think it was a couple years later, actually, we're going to drop it down on the Wii U. And it's like, no, that's not. They're in the realm of they want to be relevant, and you're just basically saying you're an afterthought. Give us your money and help us advertise and market and stuff, but you're just an afterthought. I tell them, screw you. That's the way.
That's interesting. Nintendo playing hardball. I like that. I like to think of them as a backroom bully like that. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, they didn't have the pillowcase full of oranges or quarters before to start beating people with, and I think now they've got some of that Switch money they can beat people with it.
Yeah,
day and date.
They can do it. They can do it.
Bill Trennan's just like a hard mobster, breaking fingers.
Exactly. Next up is Bethesda. Sean Capri says that Doom will have standalone DLC coming at E3. So I think that's a valid thing that we get something with Doom.
Yeah, that's cool.
Toby, what do you got?
I'm going to say Evil Within 2 is announced for PS4 and Xbox One, not Switch.
You've been wanting... Is that the one game you've been wanting forever?
No.
You've been wanting... I know what you're talking about. Okay, never mind. Yeah. I think it's a good pull. It seems like they've had... it's crazy because when they took the stage a couple years ago, I thought, why are they taking the stage? I didn't realize how deep Bethesda was in terms of like the games that they could put out and bring to the table. And a couple of years ago, they had the best, I felt, one of the best E3 presentations overall. Even if you pulled Fallout 4 out of it, like they just blew me away with like they're just bang, bang, bang. Like they brought it, man. Justin, what do you think Bethesda's going to do?
I think Bethesda will actually get a launch date or for Elder Scrolls for the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, Skyrim, I apologize.
Yeah,
Skyrim actual dates for the Switch. I also think Bethesda might dabble in the Switch again, and what we're going to see is potentially Fallout, the next version of Fallout announced, like an early trailer, maybe just some screenshot previews, and it will say for Switch as well.
What? Wait. I just realized that if that happens, I'll never speak to another human being again. I'll just like lock myself up with my Switch near a power outlet.
But I think knowing Bethesda, it will be like a 2019, right? Like it's going to be like a first glance, first trailer, right? It's going to be a large window out.
I hope this isn't one of your funny predictions, and like, because like now it's making sense to me.
Sweet, done. Like that's it.
If Skyrim,
I throw curveballs every once in a while. I'm like, this is a real one. This is a real one. This is Mario in an Assassin's Creed hoodie.
What's your Twitter so I can follow you so you can like share your thoughts with me? Seriously, because I realized
I want fan art of all of this.
Well, Skyrim coming to the Switch, like what's keeping that other like large, open world Bethesda RPG from coming? Wow.
Yeah.
I think, I'll sit in his pocket for a second. I think Bethesda had to understand first what the development cycle was like. I think moving a large cycled game like that, they couldn't put it in the same spot as Zelda because that would be just suicide, right? You weren't going to be able to do that, so you have to push it out. I think you're going to see the launch date, I think, around October, September. I wouldn't be shocked. It's got enough breathing room. Yeah. Plus people are going to go back to Zelda because of the patches, because of the DLC. So I think they've been brokering that relationship. Bethesda for Nintendo was a huge get.
Yes.
That was quite a large one, and they really toted that. So I think what they're probably going to do is something coming back and saying, by the way, can I show you how many Switches we sold in the last 12 months or 3 months? By the way, we think that it's got a viable platform. And because they've now understood how to develop onto the cartridge, develop the game, I think it actually sets them up in a really good spot to move forward with Bethesda as a primary third-party distributor for them. Where I think stuff like EA and I think Ubisoft's relationship with Nintendo in the past has been, let's say, different and challenging.
Yeah.
And I think EA, fell off a while ago. So I think Bethesda may be their new friend. New besties.
The thing
just
is,
like
Toby, man, I'm so excited right now. Life is looking so much brighter.
Listen,
like
this hasn't been announced yet, Antonio.
The clouds have parted.
Listen, it hasn't been announced yet. Calm down. But the one thing I will say is though, and I didn't realize this till I was talking to Chris White a few months ago, actually, when we brought it up, and he was saying that Bethesda actually is great at compression. So even though it's a massive game, them shrinking it down to these cartridges really shouldn't be a big deal for them, because until the new gens came out with these massive hard drives, they always were great at compression and squishing their games down to fit on whatever, lack of power was in the wheelhouse for them. So I think this is something that could definitely happen for Bethesda. I think they're, they know what's going on, per se. Antonio, what's your Bethesda?
Well, I can't follow that. I'm just, but I also said Evil Within is October 2018. I was gonna say that Fallout 4 VR was gonna make its grand entrance. I mean, it was teased. They said that they only needed about a year to get it going. It was already playable through. So, after the optimizing, they work pretty fast when they're focused. So I would say that Fallout 4 VR is going to come. Now, the other prediction, though, is that it's going to be available something like next month. So you can, start pre-ordering. Is it going to save VR or boost it to the level that it needs? I think that about 3-4 games like that had to be on the horizon for VR to be viable, recently. So it's kind of sad because I think that, you got Farpoint and a few other, really good games coming out right now, but I just don't think the interest ended up being there like they hoped. So it was interesting that they invested in the first place, but I think it's coming, and then they're going to release it. And, I don't know if it's going to do anything for the market as a whole.
So my Bethesda prediction, I agree with Justin. I have Skyrim will get a release date for the Switch. I also think it'll be the remastered edition, not just the old edition. I think that's the other reason why they're taking more time with it. And the other thing is, I think that Doom will get announced for Switch. So I think that's one that they would love to get on Switch. I think that's one that Nintendo would love to have on Switch. So that's my feeling. I think we're going to finally see. I don't think it'll have all the bells and whistles. I will say that. I think it'll be probably the first person campaign, and then probably also the multiplayer. But like the building of levels and stuff that you could do, I don't think that'll be there. But we'll see. So that's what I have for mine. Okay, so Sean Capri comes back. First one is Microsoft, and he says mouse and keyboard support for Xbox One. Ken Levine, creator of BioShock, is on the stage with Perception, special content exclusive to Xbox. So that's
what's Perception?
I guess it's a game coming to Xbox.
Oh, he's got insider information.
Well, no. I think it's a new game by the creators of BioShock, called Perception, but he's saying they'll have special content exclusive to Xbox that day. So
see, he's got that insider information because that's redacted. That was redacted, and you just like outed his information.
Toby,
cool.
What's your should we do 1-2 or should we do one around the wheel? Like do one and then come back again?
I think do 1-2.
1-2. Okay. So what's your first prediction for Microsoft?
Well, has Sean?
I did both. You did both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said Xbox Scorpio, whatever it's going to be called, will have a price in the UK of £499.99. £500.
That's not bad. I think you're right. Honestly.
Yeah, I don't think they can go any higher. And my second prediction is that I'm not sure how, in what way, but Conker will reveal himself in some video game, whether it's a cameo appearance or his own game.
Damn. You know what? I can't argue with that one. I think that's a possibility, man. I really think it's a possibility.
I think they're going to try and get some of those old retro fans back.
Because didn't they do something a couple years ago with Conker?
Yeah, he was in some like creation video game tool thing that they had. Yeah.
Justin Masson, what do you think Microsoft's going to do?
So I think Microsoft will go there. They'll make some announcement. They'll flub themselves, and they'll have to redact it later and try and fix their problems like they typically do. So that's one of them. They are going to make some kind of faux pas. The other one is that as always they decide to actually copy Nintendo, and I'm excited to announce to you guys here exclusively on the podcast that they're announcing the Xbox Classic. And the Xbox Classic is a smaller Xbox, just like the original one. But instead of being built in games on the hard drive, you have to then go buy the disc. And of course, the disc, there are some games on, like some classics Xbox games from the first generation, like that one where they do stuff in it and shoot stuff. I think it's maybe Halo. But then in that game is a lot of other really classic games like Banjo-Kazooie and Battletoads and Conk. Oh, right, that's all Nintendo games, right? They realize that they don't have anything to be classic about, and they just like walk away with their tail between their legs.
If Sean was here, he'd be screaming right now. Good God, Antonio.
I await Mr. Capri's flurry of tweets at me.
Oh, he's gonna be fired up, man. I can hear him now. Antonio, what are your Microsoft predictions?
Are we gonna loop back where we do another Microsoft prediction?
No, we're doing two. Just do boom boom. Do your two.
Oh, now. So I was gonna say $499 for the Scorpio, USD though, not pounds. So I don't know how that conversion works.
That's not too far off, actually. I think the conversion is what, $50, Toby, when you break it down.
something like
It's
that.
not that far off.
And I really wanted to get specific with some of these, so I'm gonna say that the Scorpio launches with a bring your own hard drive model. So they're gonna save the money. Everybody's got a hard drive somewhere. If you've owned any type of Xbox, you've probably upgraded. So they're gonna put something minimal in it at the very least. It's kind of like the Switch, where it's like you have to have something, but they're gonna save money there, and they're not even gonna have SKUs where it's going to be like 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get rid of that problem that everybody knows they're running up against with the branding and all that, and be like, there's going to be one of these things, and you can upgrade your hard drive if you want. Because sometimes that creates another, additional SKU, additional price, which will be confusing. So the other thing is, if you think that this new system's going to launch without a Halo type title, like you're crazy. It's gonna happen, and they've already been able to. Everyone fell in their trap. They're like, well, what about the Halo 3 anniversary? What about the next installment? Like, are we gonna see Halo 6, etc.? And it's not gonna happen. There's gonna be a Halo game, and it's gonna be similar to ODST. So it's not gonna be the full main entry, but one of those shorter games. It's going to be a visual showcase. So we're talking a Halo first-person shooter similar to ODST. And it's going to be a surprise because they didn't have to deny that it was an anniversary edition of 3 and it wasn't 6. But it's like, hey, we tricked you. It's called, Halo Bobby Paul's or whatever.
Yeah, imagine that.
So that's what's happening. And I am like for sure on one of those. One of those is happening.
So I'll just kind of lump the two that you guys already mentioned. I feel Scorpio will be priced at $500 as well, but I also feel it'll be launched in October. I feel Halo 6 will get a trailer and an official announcement at E3, but I feel like we're going to get a brand new Banjo-Kazooie game announced at E3. And I think, because I like...
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I feel like they need to pull some people back. And I think if they're smart, they're looking at it and going like, look at all the love that Nintendo's getting. Look at all the love that Yooka-Laylee got. We own this franchise. Like, people are jumping on Yooka-Laylee. We have the original Yooka-Laylee. Let's bring them back in the fold. So that's probably my big one that I feel they're going to wind up doing if everything pans out. Sony. Oh my God. Sean Capri. He says PlayStation 5 is teased like Scorpio last year.
No way. No way.
If they do, they better just pack it in because they're pulling a Sega if they do that. Red Dead Redemption is ready, gets a release date on Sony's stage. I totally can see that. 110% I can see that.
I can't see that because I think that Rockstar will want to just say that on their own terms.
Possibly. But you never know.
I'd agree with that too.
Yeah.
You know what you might hear though? You might hear it's a timed exclusive.
Could be. Yeah. Could be.
Or
Could be.
DLC first on Sony.
It's possible.
Yeah, that kind of backroom shady deals.
Yeah.
That seems like that's all Sony does anymore, is backroom shady deals. Toby, what's your Sony predictions?
All right, so Naughty Dog, they showed off a trailer for The Last of Us 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think, they said it's nowhere near being ready, but I think they won't be able to help themselves, and they're going to show gameplay footage. Even if it's not coming out for 2 years, they're going to, because they always have something there.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the other Uncharted game coming, but I think that they're going to want to tease a bit more of The Last of Us 2. Also, Spyro the Dragon will reveal himself.
Wait. That's an Activision.
Himself
but it will be exposed.
I'm back.
He will be on. It won't be
wait.
exclusive.
Yeah, because I was going to say Activision owns that now, right? Okay.
But it will be shown at the Sony conference.
It's possible.
I think they're all coming back. All these.
What are they doing with the Crash Bandicoot? Didn't they do like a refresh recently on Crash?
The trilogy is out in June, I think. the remake.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was in the docket. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're my two predictions.
Makes sense. Justin, what do you think Sony's going to do?
I think actually Sony's in a very interesting spot. I really do. I think Sony's actually in a spot to move forward and to push. I think so. I'm going to kind of bundle a couple things together. I know it's only supposed to be two, but here are some what I do think. I think we're seeing emphasis on VR from Sony, like a massive, massive emphasis on them. Like every game will be also VR. So they're going to kind of add that as a caveat to everything. I think we're going to see whatever Kojima's working on, what is that? Something. Norman Reedus is in it, whatever the hell that thing is with a baby. I don't know what's going on.
Death Stranding.
Yeah, you're gonna get a tighter date. You're gonna get a tighter date for that. It'll still be like a Q3 2020, whatever. I also think that Sony is going to reveal their competition against the Nintendo Switch, and I think it is a tablet that has what looks like two VR motion controllers slapped to the side of it, and I think that's going to be revealed. But it's not going to be nearly as successful as the Switch.
I think
because Mario.
I know you're kind of being tongue in cheek a little bit, but I also know that
I'm not in that one.
No, yeah, but I mean like with the way it's being slapped together and the way it'll look and all that, like. But I really believe that either this year or at PlayStation Experience, Sony's going to make that announcement because there is.
Yep.
There is almost nothing that Nintendo does that Sony doesn't copy right after or soon after. And let's be honest, I mean, the style of this Switch is very similar to a Vita. So
absolutely.
I can easily see them taking it and going and probably putting the games on like a mini disc rather than a cartridge and all that stuff. Yeah.
I think it would be digital only if they were to do that.
That's possible too. That could be interesting,
yeah.
They did that before with the PSP Go or whatever, like the PlayStation Go or whatever a few years ago. And that flopped. That was horrible. But I think I could see them doing or trying to do something similar.
I'm really, to be honest with you, Bobby, I'm not being too tongue-in-cheek, but I really do think that typically if you think about the past, when Nintendo has success with something, the Power Twins are very quick to try and catch up or try and do a versioning of. And I do think with the success that the Switch has had, and I do think on-the-go mobile gaming is continuing to create that niche audience, I do think they want into that. I don't know what Xbox will do with that. Xbox may not play ball that way, but I think Sony would.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be shocked. And we've seen Sony try this before, right? They had the Vita. They had the kind of downed versions of it. I think what's happened is Nintendo kind of found the aha and did it properly. So I think Sony's like, we should have done that. We can do that. Let's do that.
The truth of the matter is, and just to show some context behind it, like motion control, they both jumped on board on that one. Like, even though Microsoft was making fun of the waggle and stuff, Kinect was a motion control thing, and they were totally going that way. Xbox One had Kinect when it first started. It wasn't until Sony dropped it to get the lower price range that they backed off of it later on. That's number one. Number two, when the Wii U came out and the gamepad got announced, Sony basically announced that the Vita could be you could utilize the Vita the same way, and Smart Glass got launched. That like the next E3 for Microsoft. So a lot of times they'll jump on, and especially a success. Like they were coming off the Wii, they saw and they just, I guess they looked at it and go, hey, Nintendo's on to something, we're going to jump on this too. It flopped with Nintendo, and they backed off it completely. So I think you're right on with that. It wouldn't shock me at all. Antonio, what's your Sony predictions?
My two were, directly in the face of what you guys were talking about. So I think the Death Stranding won't be seen at all. It's going to take a break and everybody's going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
I think they heard that from people. Like, I don't want to hear from this from like everyone because they know it's so far off. And I think that the PSVR will be extremely thin. These companies may have resources to devote to things, but you got to understand that the ships are so large, they have their own focus already. So every company right now, whether it is Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStation, they're dealing with the problem of having too many different offerings and too many SKUs of those offerings. So everyone had their commitment. So PSVR that has to be and should be PlayStation's focus before they start going into this mobile hybrid space.
Yeah.
So that must be far off. I don't think they would. They were, of the three, they've invested so much into this technology that where you don't know if it's going to be a success. Switch, there's early indications, but they're trying to get devs on board. So I don't think Sony would pivot that way, knowing that, okay, let's wait and see. I think, if anything, they're still in those early phases. But after, give it 1 year, and if it is a rousing success and third party came over to Nintendo, they're going to be like, uh-oh, the third party's going over there. So I think that's the time they would do it. And then for Microsoft, same thing. They have to be all in on Scorpio because right now they have to be completely devoted to fighting PlayStation on the power front. And then what's the second thing that they need, and we all agree, is games to go to that system. They don't need a distraction in the mobile hybrid space yet. So I'd say no Death Stranding and a very thin PSVR presence. The question is there. Are they going to push it crazy or are they not? And I don't think that they can afford to be distracted from the console space they know Xbox is going to try something, try to move on them in that space. So I think they have to keep their eye on the ball. My mini prediction is that PlayStation's going to win somehow with their fans. They just announce things that are far off and somehow win without the games actually being released. Yeah. And they can do that. Their fans have given them the permission to do teasers and not release the game for 3-5 years, 8 years if you want to say. But they can win because their fans are easily won over. They remind me of Nintendo fans in a lot of respects.
Way in the back. Because Nintendo can't get away with that no more. Nintendo posts a game up and it's not coming out for 2 years. Nintendo posts a game up and it's coming out next month, and
which is a good decision.
The fanboys go absolutely ballistic. Why that's too soon? We should get it forever. It's crazy. No matter what Nintendo does, they can't get a break.
We always have to remember, and I think it's a really good point you're making there as well. But Nintendo, when they look at E3, Nintendo is not their all-in basket there.
No. Right?
They can pull a direct whenever they want, communicate directly with fans. And actually, Sony is really good at that as well, especially with their Sony conference, right? Yeah, so they've kind of leveled out their announcements, so it's not as crazy, not as all-in. Yeah. Microsoft hasn't figured that out yet, and I think that's how... If you look at and I think to your point, how Nintendo fans and Sony fans in a lot of ways are actually very similar, is because the model of communication between both companies are actually relatively similar. Yeah. You could see Nintendo or Sony one day go to like a Sony Direct almost methodology where it's more frequent, but they have that really consistent community and communication that I think helps stir that. So you don't need to say, hey guys, in 2022, here's what you're playing. Yeah. Because you're constantly communicating.
I agree. For myself, my Sony predictions are, I agree with Toby, Last of Us 2, although I don't think you look at gameplay footage, I think we get another trailer. We get a little more in depth to kind of find out what exactly is going on with this game. A lot of fans feel it's one thing already, and I kind of want to know now, are the fans right? Are they not? But I think they're going to be kind of holding back a little bit. The other thing is, I think Sony announces a brand new Sly Cooper game to be coming to
all right. 4. There you go, Bob. That's what I'm looking for. some ideas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, now Nintendo, the final one.
Oh, the crescendo. I love it.
Sean Capri, I agree with one of his things. I don't agree with his other. So here we go. His first one is he thinks we're going to get ARMS Amiibo. I think that's a very possible thing. But I think they would have announced it by now. That's the only thing that's holding me back from agreeing with that.
They would have announced that in that direct.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sean, you're fired. Dumb ideas like that.
Oh, God. He also says stamps, trophy/achievements finally announced. I personally would think it would be awesome if they did this. Although, I think you've seen, because of the Miiverse leaving, stamps are gone. But he's just saying stamps in the realm of, that's their achievement thing, and they embrace embrace it more and go with it. I really hope they do. I really do. I think it would bring more of the hardcore fans over. And that's I look at my wife who's playing Fallout 4 now, And that's her main focus now, is to platinum Fallout 4. And she knew nothing about trophies prior to this. And that's what she lives on right now, is she got one trophy left, and that's all she's going for, and that's all she pays attention to. And, like, she's not playing Mario Kart because she's playing Fallout 4 because she wants the final trophy. I think Nintendo needs to look at that and go, yes, we need to jump on board with this, and we need to make something happen. I mean, honestly, they're the original achievements people, if you think about it. They always had these things of, like, to push you a little bit further, to play the game a little bit different in aspects. They need to embrace that further and let people see, like, hey, he's got this achievement, he's got this. So I think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think that'd be a great idea, but if that was to happen, would it retroactively fit older games like Zelda?
Well,
like, would Alan get a trophy for his 900 core exceeds?
I think that they're not going to go retro. They're not going to go back. It'll be moving forward, everything. But you never know. You never know.
I actually disagree with that idea. I think they would retro it.
You think so?
Because of how big Breath of the Wild was.
Yeah.
And it draws people back to it. Oh, geez, I only need to do X, Y, or Z more to get the next achievement in there. I'm so close. I think it draws it back. I think it's and you got to think about it. There's not a lot of games. Like, I know we're picking up games every week, but there's not a lot of games you'd have to retro this to.
Yeah.
Right? And you're really only probably retroing Nintendo first parties.
Yeah.
Right? So we're talking Breath of the Wild, we're talking Mario Kart 8, we're talking... Oh, yeah, that's it. So I don't think we really have to do a whole lot there from an effort perspective. And Mario Kart 8 and Zelda's easy, I think.
That's true. Toby, hit me with some Nintendo predictions.
All right, so I think that we will not see Retro Studios game. They will not reveal themselves, because I think their game's not coming this year, and I think that Nintendo want to save that reveal for later on.
But then if you think about it, it's what now? 4 years since Retro put a game out? That's a long time for them. Like, you would think that their game should be ready within the next year.
I don't know.
But I agree. You might not see them. You might not see them at E3 because their game might be a 2018 game. But
we might see Metroid in another way because everyone assumes they're working on Metroid. But I reckon maybe there'll be a 2D Metroid by another developer. So.
Is it crazy how big Retro Studios is? Is that, like, all Nintendo fans look to them and go, "What?" Like, they're the new Rare, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's all Nintendo fans care about. Like, we care about what games Nintendo's putting out and what games Retro's putting out. Everybody else, they could care less about. But it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Platinum's getting pretty close to that group as well.
Platinum's starting to, but the problem with Platinum is they also still do games for other companies. So if Platinum was exclusive to Nintendo, which I honestly think Nintendo should try to do, it would be so much bigger for them. Their releases would be, I feel, in the Nintendo fans' eyes, a bigger thing, you know. But yeah, I agree.
I also think that Mario Kart 8 will get DLC, and it will feature Rabbids as
no, stop.
It will, and possibly even a Rabbids course where you go through Rabbid Land.
I don't like.
Would a Metroid course be in there as well?
Oh yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
That's the one I want so bad. It would be so awesome to have a Metroid track, and you actually get her ship as a cart, like, and maybe even throw Samus as a character. It would be amazing. Like, if they did what they did with Link for Samus, I'd be so excited, so excited.
Where's
so
Kirby?
one of her.
Would you stop with Kirby? Get out of here with that nonsense.
Kirby's too busy giving the Nintendo 3DS the death kiss. The kiss of death from Kirby. That's where you put it. That's where you put a Kirby game. You want to kill a system and a life cycle. Here's some Kirby on 3DS.
I love you, Justin. I love you. Because right now, my buddy Nick that owns Next Level Games, he's flipping out right now. He's like, no, because last time we said some stuff about Kirby, he left a comment on the YouTube channel saying that next time I come up to the store, me and him have to have a conversation about his love for Kirby. So I love that you said that because that's so true, Justin.
It's kiss death.
Not bad, Toby. Not bad. I like your predictions. Good stuff. That's all you have, right?
Yeah.
You should do like 6 more?
No, let's do that.
Justin, what do you have?
Bobby, this is the first time, and it's an exclusive to your show that I'm going to be revealing some of my E3 predictions for Nintendo. So let's get warmed up, let's get comfy, let's sit in.
Now it gets serious. Folks. This is the main event now. Here comes Justin.
The main event, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here's what I do think. I actually want to build off of Toby's idea first. Nintendo is going to take a microtransactional approach to their relationship with their customers. And what I mean by that is they are going to create a long-term DLC strategy for some of the bigger games that we know of. Absolutely, Toby, Mario Kart will get a DLC package. It will be strung out over a couple of years. It's going to cost about $15. That, I think, is going to happen. You are going to get a second installment of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC that will last us over the next several years. You will not see another Zelda game until the next edition of a Switch 3, 4, 5 years from now. They are going to continue to roll out DLC expansions to that universe and packages. I also think that you're going to see that in Splatoon, where you're going to see some cost DLC. They have free DLC. They're going to start now charging you packages, I think is how we're going to see that. That kind of microtransactional DLC plan also is going to expand into more of their other games. I think eventually you'd see like Galaxy potentially as well. ARMS will have it as well. But I do think it's going to be DLC packages, how they're going to continue you to be playing games that they put out. That's how they're going to create a longevity of their games to fill those gaps. This also kind of rolls into my next thing, is where they are going to actually reveal what we call the eShop 2.0. And actually kind of overhaul their entire infrastructure. That way, that includes their online infrastructure. They will reveal their online program, when it comes online, how much it's going to cost, what those free games also look like there. I think they're going to reveal that strategy. So in combination with kind of that release, what they're going to do is they will also announce a NES Classic standalone cartridge, because they heard that a lot of people couldn't get the NES Classic, and they couldn't, but instead of thinking you couldn't get the Classic you're upset about, they're going to offer you the cartridge for about $60. It's going to have all 60 games on it, and it's also going to be available for download. And I think as a very end, to hear what people have been saying about Metroid, you will only get a slight teaser of Metroid. You will only get like a splash screen of maybe the visor turning on, the music creaking in the background, or it'll be black screen, music creaking on the background, and then like the visor turning on, and it just says Metroid, Nintendo Switch, and that's it.
Good prediction,
dude. Justin Masson.
I want to live inside that.
I want to marry Justin Masson right now. I want to move to Ireland and just marry this guy. Like, dude, you come with some serious business, man. This is, okay.
I legitimately think some of it's possible. I actually think all of it's possible. But whether they actually execute on, I think some are musts.
Yeah.
I do actually think they absolutely, like, some are my wild cards. But some are absolutes, right? I do think we have to see the online structure.
Yeah.
We have to see what that's going to cost, what that game. They're going to talk about that. They're going to do a rehaul, an overhaul. I also do think, if you saw in that ARMS Direct, we're going to be rolling out more content over the months. They're taking the Splatoon model, and I think that they're understanding that DLC is now part of their demographics, right? Yeah. And I think we saw they've won on DLC before with Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. They did great on that. They did pretty good on it for Smash. And then they stumbled on kind of how they announced it for Breath of the Wild. Yeah. But I think that's because they were so excited about basically saying there is a life beyond Breath of the Wild. Yeah. And I do think that's going to be a massive thing. I also wouldn't be shocked if we see another really big 3DS game to keep the 3DS heartbeat going. They are not done with that system. I would not be shocked if we see like believe it or not, although I said the Kirby Kiss of Death, like another Zelda, a Link Between Worlds, a Link to the Past method game, easy to port, that keeps the system alive for a little bit longer. That was a lot.
Sorry, man. My head is about to explode. So I love the DLC. I love the idea of the DLC. I really truly believe that, because I think what they did with Splatoon on the Wii U, where they gave us free content for it felt like 9 months, honestly. I think they like that model. But I think the way they want to look at it is, we give free content for a year, and then boom, you re-up your subscription for the next year. I could totally see that happening, because I think that's why we're getting Splatoon 2 right at launch, is because they want this game to be the Minecraft that just goes forever, and they just keep adding to it little by little by little. I think that's a huge thing.
And I think the other reason with that as well, with Splatoon especially, is Splatoon is such a big third part or shooter, right?
Yeah.
And to play online, you need their online subscription.
Yes.
Right. So you need something there to support that model, and I think you're going to be paying to play Splatoon online in a couple different ways, via DLC packs plus your subscription model.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is why the reoccurring credit card numbers just got added to the eShop a couple weeks ago.
Yep. And the Metroid, I totally see that happening. I can't not see that happening. I think they're going to, because they want to bring more hardcore gamers to Switch, and that's a game that they have in their wheelhouse. That's a mature audience to some degree, and it's also for the hardcore. Antonio.
And I think if Reggie has to answer one more time where Metroid is, he's going to lose it.
I know. Antonio, what do you got?
I think I'm push back a little bit on what Justin was saying with, that theory about the DLC. I think that Nintendo is going to put all their effort into their online service. It surprised me, and I thought it was a very welcome thing that Splatoon and ARMS are going to get free updates. That's what they're touting. They're not touting paid. They're touting free. And I think it's going to benefit them in the long run. They got away with it with Zelda because Zelda's amazing, and they may have a strategy just for that game. But I believe that Nintendo is asking you to buy a Switch. It's asking you to buy as many games as possible, and then it's going to ask you to buy its online service. It's actually going to require it. To add DLC on top of that for even one of its mainstay games besides Zelda or multiple seems like too much for me at that point. I think they're going to go with a $40 per year or less price, because in a surprising move, they're going to realize that they can't introduce at a premium. And I know Bobby, brought up a really good point that, you can't go up later. But I just think that they're going to need to have that. The main focus is going to be on the online service. So what can we do to push that before anything else? So that's where I'm thinking. My second prediction is Virtual Console. There's this interesting thing where we were, chomping at the bit to hear about it. Once the Switch came and there was this idea we weren't going to have games to play, we got even more excited and anticipating it. Now, there's an interesting thing that's going on with Nintendo that just in the last couple weeks, we have like Owlboy and all these other games being announced. It's like, this is coming. And, some have dates, some have general dates, but they are filling up this year fast, and they did it. And I think that the thirst for Virtual Console is going down, not up. I am not starved for games to play at all. Once you buy the system, you realize that. So I want to say that Virtual Console may not be kicked off proper until next year. And the reason I say that is it's either going to – they have June, July, and August covered. They have a plan. And they haven't revealed to us September, October, November, but come holiday, we have Mario. So they either do it now and eat into the sales of all their new stuff that they're releasing in the next couple months. So we're talking, September, October for Virtual Console, or they skip over and we're really not going to see it launch proper until 2018. The interesting thing is they already said the online service was going to have some type of play games and demo games, and have access to games. So that might be the extent of it. If they do launch it, so we can be playing this in the fall, it's going to be totally subscription based. You can't buy the game. You just have access once you have the online subscription. You can't just spend the $5-10 to buy the game anymore.
I'll just put this out there. I'm going to say you're wrong, just for the fact that Mother 3
we shall see.
Mother 3 is going to get announced to be the first game to come to Virtual Console. That's just going to happen.
Okay.
Before
Let's put our money where our bacon is.
Yes.
Mario World.
Yes, it will. Because they've already because that's the game. Yeah, but here's the thing. Mother 3 is the game in the United States, at least, that fans have been screaming for so long. You've already got Link to the Past a million different places. You've already got all these other games a million different places. this is the one game that the fans have been screaming for forever, and they haven't gotten. And I think this is one that gets announced that's going to come to Switch. I just in my gut, I just feel it. I think it's going to come.
What do you think about...
I think Virtual Console's coming this year. There's no doubt. Listen, the fact that Virtual Console wasn't there day one blew me away. I expected it there right away, and it wasn't there. I don't see them going into 2018 without having Virtual Console there. I think it's a big mistake. I think that because you got people that are kind of want to buy a Switch because they want some of the old classic games, and they can't get them. Prime example is Toby's brother. I think he's basically said he wants to play some of them old great games, and the one thing holding him back from a Switch is he can't play any of the retro games. So you look at what the NES Classic did, how it blew through the roof and people couldn't get it. The fans are rabid for old games. And that will, what they can do is, like, Nintendo has got a good thing going where, like, every 1 to 2 weeks, they have games coming out. Those Virtual Console games could be the gap fills throughout the year. For, like, hey, we don't have any new games coming this week. You know what? Now we launch Super Mario World. We launch this. With Virtual Console, it's a different beast. It's a different animal where the idiot Nintendo faithful, we buy these games over and over and over again. So it's like steady cash revenue for Nintendo. It's a steady flow of income, I feel. And I think they're gonna hit it this year. I don't think they wait till next year. I think it's a mistake to wait till next year.
What if so we know that we have, ARMS, and we know that we have Splatoon. Let's say that they say Skyrim in, let's just say August.
You still have Fire Emblem Warriors.
Payday 2 in September. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Warriors. You have
bomb somewhere on another game to eat into those sales.
Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah, because I don't think that. I think that the Virtual Console games are priced so cheap that it's not going to eat into those games. You're not talking about putting $60 Virtual Console games out. You're talking about $5 to $10. So it's not that massive. It's not going to dip in. If they were basically saying, like, here's our games, and oh, by the way, you can buy all these Wii U games on the Virtual Console that are priced at $60, I think that's a mistake. But NES games, Super Nintendo games, they're so small in price. I don't think it affects any sales, honestly. I don't think it'll eat into anything. The only way it eats in is if they go with, like, massive games, which they could potentially go with the GameCube, but I don't think there'll be $60 games on the GameCube. They'll probably be $20 to $30.
I'm excited. I'm excited because one of us is right. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. If you're right, I'm still happy. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that, just doing the math, it just seems like Nintendo is taking that approach. I'm excited.
Okay, so my 2 predictions. I did have Masson's, with Metroid, but obviously I'll let him have that one.
Well, thanks. So kind of you.
Animal Crossing will get announced and shown at E3. I think it's on the horizon. I think it's ready to go, and I think they're going to bring it. I think it's been ready for a while, but I think with the Wii U not really selling that well, they kind of, didn't put it out. They scrapped it and pushed it to the Switch. So I think that one's ready to go. Bayonetta 3 gets announced for Switch as well, and I think those are the 2 big ones for Nintendo.
Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Harvest Moon just get announced for Switch?
Something with Harvest Moon, yeah.
Does that compete directly with Animal Crossing? I've never played either series, honestly.
I don't think so.
To me, it looks a little similar.
They look.
Yeah, similar look, but they're not even remotely the same. Animal Crossing has like a real world clock in it, where everything is real time. So if it's 12 o'clock in the noon, 12 in the afternoon right now, it's 12 in the afternoon in your Animal Crossing world. If it's 1 p.m., if it's 1 a.m., it's 1 a.m. in the game. And everything interacts based on time, dates, and all that different stuff. Where Harvest Moon is a farming simulator. And it has real life stuff in it, but it's mainly focused around your farm and farming and stuff. So they're cool. Really, they look similar. 2 different games. They're sim games, but they're 2 different totally. And the other reason why I think Animal Crossing is coming with the announcement of, they've already said that the Animal Crossing phone app game will be sometime in 2017. They're going to want that game to kind of be right around the same time. That's what they've shown with after the success of Pokemon Go, and they saw their uptick in sales of 3DSs and Pokemon X and Y, and then Pokemon Sun and Moon selling more games than they've ever sold ever in the franchise history. They recognize that like these mobile games do help because they're bite-sized morsels of what the big game is, and it pushes the sales on the other stuff. So I think knowing that that game is coming, I think they're going to want to have a full-fledged Animal Crossing game right behind it. Even if it is like City Folk was to Wild World, where it's a basically New Leaf with some added features to it, I totally see it happening. I can't see that they won't do it. So, and even if it's one of those things where they announce it and we don't get it for 2 years, I think Animal Crossing is a franchise that they want to let their hardcore fans know, because they want those fans are rabid and they want them over and ready to buy a Switch, honestly. So, anybody else have any?
Rabid?
Stop it. That is all. Thank you guys for listening to us. iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all that good stuff. Could follow Mr. Masson at Masson23 on Twitter. Antonio, what is it? Blood Boy? What is it?
It's supposed to be Blue Blood 02, so it's
Okay.
BLUBLUD02.
Gotcha. Okay. That's a little tough for the New Jersey guy to get.
I didn't think it through.
Follow Toby at Toby's_take. Follow me at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Thank you guys so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun. See me later.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Mother 3 is not coming out.
Agreed.
I concur.
You know what? You can all piss off.